think we have everybody out here. Well, thank you all for coming. You can hear me all right? Welcome to this grand opening of Oak Hill Supportive Living Community. Thank you all for coming. My partners and I are pleased to provide this safe, secure, and stimulating development to be used as a community for seniors who can truly make the next years of their life some of the best years of their life. So we thank you for coming out to join us in this grand opening. You're going to hear a lot of thank yous before we cut this ribbon, but a few of them will be particularly significant, like the one I'd like to extend to my partners, Craig Whitehead, Mark Lambert, Jeff Rappin, and Steve Rappin. Thank you for your support. My extra heartfelt thanks to Mark and Craig, who were somehow able to withstand my unending questions and challenges and put up with a lot. And as much as this development process was exceedingly complicated, over the past 3 years, we've become better friends than we were when we started. So my thanks to Mark and Craig. I would follow these men anywhere. So thank you. The really next big thanks, the big thanks I'd like to extend is to IDA, Illinois Housing Development Authority, whose approval of the tax credits was absolutely vital for this construction of Oak Hill to be completed. So we strongly appreciate their partnering to make this a reality. And with all that said, I'm going to turn this microphone over to Craig, who will introduce several other people who might be you might be interested to know. And I would just ask that as he makes those introductions, that those individuals respectively raise their hands so they can be recognized by all the folks that are here. Craig?
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Yesterday I texted Marty my speech, and it was about 14 pages, and Marty said, Craig, these people want to have appetizers and they want to have cocktails. They don't want to hear you go on and on and on. So if I keep going a little too long, give Marty the signal and he'll give you the hook. Mark Lambert and Craig Whitehead are the Crown Group. We're originally from a little town called Crown Point, Indiana, hence Crown. We are a small development company that has done commercial real estate projects throughout our career, and we've really never done anything like this 94-unit residential supported living facility. We came to Round Lake Beach 18 or 20 years ago, if you can believe it, and we assembled the property in the corner for the Walgreens, which is a nice, I think, addition to the community. A couple of years after that, we had Regal Cinemas. We built Regal Cinema, an 18-screen complex down the street. It's very nice. But this is wow. And there were a lot of people to thank that really helped. A couple of commercial guys that really didn't understand this product type helped get through this process. First of all, I got to give you a little background. Summer of 2008, Marty Jablonski calls Craig and Mark, do you want to build a supported living facility in Round Lake Beach on a parcel of land that we once had some interest in trying to do a shopping center here? And obviously in 2008, the real estate markets were shut down, and we said, well, why not? It might be challenging. Let's see if we can do it. And so we got started on it. The other party that was very helpful throughout this process, Jerry Finnis, Pathway Senior Living, they're our operator, and they're terrific. I want to give you just a little short story before I finalize my thank yous. About 18 months ago, we were on our way. All the approvals were had. We only needed a tax credit purchaser to get started. So our contractor, Skinder, is always saying, when are we going to get started? When are we going to get started? And of course, as developers who build in Chicago, you want to get started in May or June every year. You don't want to start a project in the fall because the winter typically kills you. We had our original tax credit partner kind of go sideways on us April, May of last year. So we were scrambling, so we had to push back the start date from May. Skinder, sorry, we can't start until June. Oops, now it's July. Luckily, we finally got that financing secured. September 27th last year, we broke ground. and this project was open for business on July 31st. 10 months' time. Skender, you did a great job for us. We really appreciate it. The next party I'd like to thank is our architect, Thad Gleason, and Dave Schoening, and Mike Keel. And Dave Schoening, for a variety of reasons, hasn't been to this project now for about 3 months, so he's seeing all the finishes for the first time, and I think he likes what he sees. I want to say a little special, I think Michael Best, are you out here today? Michael Best, he was the gentleman that, luckily through Jerry's efforts, found Hunt Capital Finance, which came in and bought our tax credits to make this thing a reality. Michael, thanks so much for your help. Bill Perry, our engineer, and Dan Olson. If you've had a chance to look at this site is spectacular. It's just as nice as we could expect. It turned out that we had a row of trees out back that ended up being in the right place, but they did a super job and we appreciate their efforts. Draper and Kramer helped us do the HUD loan. I want to thank Brian Black, Lee Uller, and Jacob Weil. Appreciate your efforts. We're in the process now of going from the interim HUD loan to the final HUD loan and working through that as we go. One of our favorite parts of this whole design was the interior design, and Julie Redwine and Georgia Chronopoulos, I think I'm pronouncing that properly, helped us choose all the colors, all the finishes, all the light fixtures, and I think with their help we made some nice selections. It's just beautiful in there. I want to thank the Village of Round Lake Beach. We worked together. We ended up with a great product. We've worked together and trusted each other now for upwards of 20 years. Mayor Hill supported us throughout this process. A couple of times we had some issues. He stood by us. We got it done. David Kilbane, we've worked with forever. He's a great guy. John Wildenberg, appreciate you guys as well. Trustees, thank you. Thank you for believing in us. Okay, lastly, I'm going to run through some other names of people that helped us. Wayne Smallwood, we remember calling him 4 years ago. He was in Fort Collins, Colorado. We said, Wayne, we need a consultant. And my son went to Fort Collins, and so he was there. I said, why don't you bring my son home? But Wayne, 4 years ago, got us started down the path to submit the appropriate applications, and Wayne, we appreciate your efforts. Wayne's going to speak a little bit. Valerie Kretschmer, if you're here, thank you for your market studies. Bruce Schiff, if you're here, appreciate your efforts. Kevin Jones, you've been a great guy, appreciate your efforts. Steve Guerra, who did the commercial kitchen. If you didn't, I don't know if we're allowing people to go in the kitchen today, but it's a spectacular kitchen, and if you're allowed to go in there, go take a look at that. We did a nice job, we think, with the movie theater room, and that was Rod Swanson, who's, I think, here. Rod, appreciate your efforts. Louis Obuno, our traffic study guy. Louis, thank you. Again, thanks for coming. At this point, Marty.
I'll be very brief. But if anybody knows us, what you probably realize is that Craig does most of the talking and I do most of the listening. But I just wanted to say thanks to all those people as well, and thank you for coming.
A follow-up comment on the kitchen. All of the food in that kitchen is prepared from scratch. At this point, I'd like to introduce Jerry Finnis. And if you saw this morning's Tribune, there was an article about, the title was Saying No to Old Age. And it provided me with the most ideal way to introduce Jerry Finnis of Pathway Senior Living, the operator of Oak Hill. And Pathway says no to old age in a single word called Viva. And that is what Jerry is in some part going to tell us about. Jerry, please.
Well, good afternoon. First I have to say that this nice windy afternoon reminded me of, we opened up our third or fourth project. It was in with Alexian Brothers Hospital called Alexian Village We were having a grand opening, and it was a windy afternoon like this, and Brother Tom came up to give us the invocation, everything else, and put his arms up like this, and the podium just right down the way. So we didn't know if that was a good or bad sign, but it was a sign nevertheless. Well, thanks a lot for coming. We're really excited to be here. This is a great facility and a great community, and we really are looking forward to it. We started Pathway we actually opened up our first facility in January 2000, which was the first fully brand new development of a supported living facility in the state of Illinois. So it was a lot of fun. It took a lot of time. We didn't really know what we were doing, and it took something which I think everybody here should know a little bit about. It's called a public-private partnership. That's how facilities like this get done. A public-private partnership is usually when you have private developers, operators, investors, and capital markets, get together with certain governmental agencies to make places like this happen. And the two biggest agencies that were very involved in this and making supported living a reality in the state of Illinois was IDA, the Illinois Housing Development Authority, which Craig already had mentioned, and Marty had already mentioned. And they help provide and facilitate the development and creation of affordable housing throughout the state of Illinois, as well as Illinois Department of HFS, Health and Family Services, which oversees the SLIP program. They created the license to allow us to do what's going to happen in here once this building is done. So IDA helps get it up, and HFS helps support us down the road after that in operation. So we're really this really is a great example of a public-private partnership. So hear that again. This is what it can create. Pathway has operated or has opened, and this is our 12th opening for supported living facilities here in Illinois. And it seems like every time we're involved with one, they're all a little bit better than the last one. And I must admit, everybody's done a great job here, and this keeps that streak going. So everybody who's involved in getting the building and the community up to this point, thank you very much. You've done a great job. So we're really happy to be here. We look forward to it. And as Marty talked about, our operating philosophy is embodied in a concept called VIVA, which is really an enthusiastic way to, a life enrichment way to help seniors at this stage in their lives. So there's all kinds of brochures about that around here, and please feel free to look at that. I must tell you one quick story. When we got started with Viva, one of the first unique things that we did, we had something called Camp Viva. Now, Camp Viva was an overnight camping trip for folks from our facilities and the communities around the Chicagoland area. And it was about 4 or 5 years ago, Colleen, I can't remember the year that we did it first. But actually, we took probably half a dozen folks from each of the communities, and we actually went and had put up tents and had a barbecue, and they were fishing in a little lake outside of Bartlett. And it was pretty interesting because a lot of people said they hadn't been on a camping trip like this either ever or for 30, 40, 50 years. So that was an awful lot of fun. I knew we were planning it, except one of the first days, about a month before, I was going to get an invoice across my desk, and I didn't know what it was for. And it said it was for 40 Army cots. And I said to Colleen, what are we doing with 40 Army cots? I just didn't put it together, but it was great. Now I know what we're doing, and we still have them, and so I'm sure maybe we'll move the next Camp Viva out back here. So thank you very much, and thanks for coming.
Virginia and Larry, you were on my list. Light and Gale helped us do all our project pro formas, look for financing, get it done. They spent hours and hours and hours. Thank you. Where are you guys at? There you are. Thanks for coming. Appreciate your efforts.
And as much as Jerry mentioned IHFS, I want to extend a special thanks to our friends at Catholic Charities. We have a couple people here from Catholic Charities. If they'd raise their hand and be recognized. Over this way here. They were one of the first to write a letter of support, which made a huge difference in our ability to win the license from the state. With that, I'd like to now introduce Wayne Smallwood. Wayne inspired me to make this trip to Quincy, Illinois, where he told me one of the very best supportive living facilities was being operated. And among other things that he inspired me to do, I read this book by Art Linkletter, who at the age of 95 wrote this book, How to Make the Rest of Your Life the Best of Your Life. So residents coming here, be aware I'll be pushing you to write a book, because if you're not 95, you have it in you, okay? So with that, I'd like to ask Wayne up to tell us a little bit more about the supportive living program. Wayne?
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm the executive director of the Affordable Assisted Living Coalition. We're the trade association that represents supportive living here in Illinois, and we happen to have the leading affordable assisted living program in the country. So Illinois is a leader in something other than its budget, its bond rating, and the number of governors in prison. So I'm here to tell you that supportive living is a gift. It's a gift to the seniors who need superior housing and help on a sometimes basis. They don't need it every day necessarily, but they need it on a sometimes basis. And it's a gift because it allows people to maintain their dignity and independence while living in a healthy aging environment. And so much of what we're going to be focusing on in our future, mainly driven by the boomers and those of us that are coming, is that we want active, healthy aging, and nobody does it better than Pathway. SLIF is also, we call SLIF Supportive Living Facilities. SLIF is also a gift to families, because families have the assurance that their loved ones are living someplace that's safe and that they're being looked after, and that's a tremendous assurance to them as they think about, their mom and dad or grandparents as they get older. Supported living is also a gift to the state and federal governments who finance Medicaid. This program is supported under the Medicaid program, which is, remember, the low-income insurance program here in Illinois and across the country that's in trouble. Medicaid's in trouble. But this model offers a lower-cost alternative to people who would otherwise be in nursing homes or in hospitals. In fact, the rates that are paid to supported living are 51% of what nursing homes get, so just barely over half. And yet, there are people that would consider getting rid of this program, and that's why we fight so hard as a trade association and with all of our members and all of our supporters. It's also important to realize that people that live in supported living have average length of stays over 2 years. So we not only do it for less money, we do it for a longer period of time. And so that's a tremendous help to the state and federal government who is struggling with Medicaid across the country and struggling with Medicaid here in Illinois, as you hear on a daily basis. Supported living is also a gift to the cities and towns where it's located. Oak Hill is one of 137 operating supported living facilities in 73 counties. And it's just a tremendous offering of over 10,700 apartments right now. There are another 27 developments that are underway but not yet open. And so it's a source of pride for any community. Round Lake Beach will be no exception. This will be a source of pride for this community, not only because of the economic development and the jobs that it offers, because they have done the right thing to offer this level of service to seniors who have done so much for us during our lifetime. And I also want to mention that nobody operates supported living better than Pathway. You've heard that statement, and I will say it as well. Jerry said this is the 12th one they've opened. They operate 13, and there are 1,367 supported living apartments in the Pathway supported living portfolio. That's not all they do, but that's a major portion of what they do. And my old standard of how good a place was used to be, would I put my mother there? Now it's, would I go there? Because I've stopped worrying about my mom. She's 82 and still living at home, but I worry now about me and am I going to have a place? And Jan has made assurance to me that I will have a suite here in this building. So I have to tell you, I have one in every one of the 137 buildings, but this one is one of my favorites. And I want to offer congratulations to Mark and to Craig, who I got to meet some years ago, as Mark said and Craig said when we talked in Fort Collins on the phone. But they kept telling me this was going to be the best supported living facility in the state. And as you look around, as you go through today, who can argue? And thanks to Pathway, and congratulations to them on another great job. And their job will just be starting, and watch as the years go by how great they do. So thank you.
May I just say that after Governor Quinn, who is very supportive of this program, Wayne Smallwood may be the next best friend of seniors living in this state. Thank you very much, Wayne. And finally, we get close to home here. I'd like to introduce David Stolman, Lake County Board Chairman. David supported us with his efforts to find ways to finance this project, and most notably with this new development in Lake County. This will be the first development to achieve the Gold Green Building Standard by the National House and Building Association. The facility is very green and has also been awarded a DECA award, and this is as a result of the energy-saving technologies that were embraced. So it's a high degree of comfort in this building, and we're saving lots of energy. With that, David Stoll.
Hi, everybody. First of all, Sandy Cole. Is Sandy Cole still here? Sandy Cole is our state representative. Wave hello. No? Two people, Keith Brin is running for clerk of the court, and Michael Carbone. Michael is running for county clerk. Marty, we are absolutely thrilled. This is an honor to be here, and this is such a unique facility. I got a chance to, he gave me the $10 tour, and I'm just telling you right now that first of all, it's saving taxpayers money. We wish there were more of these. We welcome you to Lake County. This is an absolute phenomenal development, and again, we're just thrilled that we're able to participate with regard to this. So again, good luck, congratulations, and onward and upward. Thank you.
And now finally, one of our favorite, Mayor Hill of the village of Round Lake Beach. Mayor Hill instantly got it when we approached him with this idea. He supported the project throughout the development process because he knew what an asset this would be to the community and its seniors who live here. Mayor Hill.
Thank you, Marty. Before I begin, if I could ask my trustees to come up and join me up here. Although I'm the mayor, the trustees are the ones that really make what happens happen in our village of Round Lake Beach. We'll give them all a big round of applause. Senior citizens. Senior citizens have spent their lives working, raising their families, and protecting our country. They have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. They are a testament to the greatness of the United States of America. They can now take some time for themselves after all they've done for everyone else. This home for seniors, the Oak Hill Supported Living Community, was designed with that in mind. The rooms are designed for a little upkeep by the residents. The residents have so many amenities to enjoy, including the great outside patio, the billiards room, which is my favorite, the greenhouse, and even the theater. I wouldn't mind having a lot of those myself. Marty talked about the groundbreaking we had here, but he left out, actually I think it was Craig, but he left out the fact that it was pouring rain that day. But we still had 30 or 40 people come out for the groundbreaking, and it was great to see, but they endured a lot to get through it. Not always a good sign when it's pouring rain when you're doing a groundbreaking. But it turned out wonderful here, and with that, I'd like to welcome Oak Hill and the residents of Round Lake Beach, and so I look forward to a successful relationship with them and the new residents that will call Oak Hill their home. Thank you.
And finally, there is Jan Castillo, the Executive Director of Oak Hill. Jan, please come forward. like to tell you that Jan, just her compassion alone, would make any one of us want to be in a building that she is overseeing. Now, Jan wanted to make a very long speech, but we have convinced her to keep her remarks very brief. Jan.
Hi. We are so glad that you have joined us for our celebration today, and I think I can speak on behalf of all of the staff here at Oak Hill Supportive Living, is that we are all proud to be a part of Pathway Senior Living and proud to be a part of the Oak Hill or the Round Lake Beach community. So thank you for being a part of it and welcoming us, and now we're going to cut the ribbon.